Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would start working on a really weird concept, Kriel Space Station, in a second here. I'll just show you a quick update to this, I don't know, transport CV that I've been working on. I've been trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with the thruster housings on it. Realized that I want the front ones and the rear ones to be different models and not like the same thing repeating or something like that. But now I'm kind of playing with the side profile of the ship. I'm kind of wondering if mixing the height of the thrusters might be a good thing. And I also got rid of all the little small thrusters and put in some bigger ones in here too. I got it up to 8 lift thrusters currently, but only one strafing thruster, and I think I want to get a strafing thruster in this front assembly as well. But basically I've been playing with the side profile and wondering if I shouldn't try to go for like have these front ones like lower and the back ones raised, and then I was thinking about redesigning the back ones and maybe having them at like a 45-degree angle coming off the back, maybe a little bit further out. And I'm also offsetting where the thrusters start. I'm trying to extend this one out a little bit more than the front just to break it up. If I had them all uniform at the same row, it's not bad, but it certainly changes the look of the ship a lot. And I kind of wanted to explore the idea of having these thrusters offset. I think that would be kind of neat. And anyway, let's start this here. So, Kriel Space Station. Let me get the HUD up. I'll place a core block. Let me get out of the way a little bit of the other stuff here. I think the light is facing this way, so that is good. Now, I'm in space. There's no way I would want to try to do this on the ground. It's maybe you'll see why after I get started. So, I'm a little congested too. Just got done shoveling about 8 inches of snow that we got where I'm at right now. So it was light, fluffy stuff though, so really quite easy to shovel in comparison. Okay, so on this, what I want to do is build a ring to start with, basically like a 2D ring. This is kind of like a cut profile of it, and this is going to be at least at the start more of a, I don't know, like a 3D printer kind of build. So a little bit different. And the idea, what I want to do is make a big kind of like oval, but it wavy. And I'm not using too much in the wedge blocks on this row. Here, let me get symmetry on. I'll start doing it. It's very hard to explain. And this is a high concept creation too. So it's something I thought about for kind of a long time, but never really wanted to engage on. So what I'm doing right now is just kind of trying to figure out where the top middle part of this ring is going to be, and it's actually, I kind of want it a little bit more oval as opposed to a circle, but I want to keep on fluctuating with its heights, and this won't make much sense when I'm doing it on this row, but when I start adding in the other rows around it, hopefully it starts to make a little bit more sense. So I'm going to keep on changing the angle here a little bit, and I'll go down a block or two. Well, actually in this case I think just one. And then I'm going to slant that back out again, and then I'll go up a little bit and then back down again. Basically it's trying to be a little bit more organic, I guess you could say. So that is kind of what I've been looking at. Now I can't do the super thin like these things in here because I won't have the side blocks to deal with that. I wish there was some more angles you could do, because that would really help with this too. But I think maybe this could work. I might have to make some modifications to this, of course, as I'm going through it too. But you can kind of see how it's kind of doing one of these numbers, and then I'll go out just a little bit here, and then it'll start wrapping back in again, and then start curving around to form kind of a wide oval. That's just part one, and then it's to start adding other block rows to this to start beveling it out a little bit more and things like that. And what these ovals are going to be, like over here, and then probably another one down over here, and kind of around the whole thing, is kind of like mount points for arms. But not yet, not at this point. It's going to need a few more block rows in here to really start to wave it around a lot. So Just trying to think on my overall dimensions here. Okay, so far I think okay. And let's slant this down over here. So yeah, just a bunch of these wedge blocks right now. Pretty simple. But it just keeps on twisting. And yeah, something like that. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. It's kind of the idea I was looking to do. Let's take these out one more here. Well, now let's go straight, and then we'll give it that. And we'll start beveling this out a little bit on this side again. And I'm always doing it in sets of 2 when I do these, because it's going to be necessary when I try to put in the supporting blocks around both the front and back of this. If I don't have the 2 combo, there won't be blocks that'll fit. Alright. And again, high concept. I don't know if this is going to work out. I really don't. But I thought it would be a fun one, and kind of a fun, a little bit different building method too, to try to show. I used this building method on a couple things in the past. One was the Scar Crawler was built this way too. Okay, so do that, and we'll start wrapping this back around again. I know it seems pretty silly what I'm doing right now, but hopefully once I get more into this, you'll understand what I got going on here, and why. But you can kind of see what the shape is looking like. So we've got, figure these will be beveled out and rounded and all kinds of weird stuff going on, but like mount point of, well, tentacles, essentially. That's what's going there. And then the other side of it will be a lot different. Now, I'm starting out in symmetry, like you see me doing now, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way either. It's just this will be a lot easier earlier on, but then I kind of want to break out into some asymmetrical areas along here as well. Again, the idea is to be kind of organic looking, and that is really what I wanted to achieve. Not necessarily a symmetrical formation, but if I can keep it close to that for a little bit, that's make it a little easier, I think. Well, let's rotate a block. There we go. All right, and let's do that, and then we'll start to angle this out again. And this is just one particular line row, essentially. I'm not sure if I'm not really concerned about necessarily being straight on with what I got going on the top to the bottom. That's not really, I kind of want it off actually, so I'm just going by memory, and I'm not actually trying to compare the blocks I got on the top or turn on 4-way symmetry to do it. Just as important that every time I do one of these 22 5s that I do 2 blocks and not 1. Otherwise I will screw this up. Okay, so what are we looking like so far? Okay, so it's a little bit different on the top and bottom, which is cool. I kind of wanted that. Actually on the bottom, maybe we'll make a little modification to the original design. Originally it was supposed to be wavy like that on the bottom, but I'm actually thinking about folding this up and building an archway here a little bit. I think that could be kind of a neat added thing beyond the original idea. And again, it's very hard to even try to tell you what the idea here is yet. Hopefully it'll make a lot more sense so in a little while. But this is pretty fast block work, doing what I'm doing here, so it's not like a big time-consuming, complicated thing. Alright, so there is like a cross cut of one part of this. So essentially kind of like a line printer. Like if I took a 3D printer and I printed one row of a 3D object, and it's basically 2D right now. So the next part here is, now here's another thing too. I've got Xeno blocks too, because part of this I want to be in Xeno, but I'm not exactly sure what parts of that I want it to be there yet. So I might have to replace some of these blocks later on, and I'm not sure what I should be using for my base material yet. But I'm just kind of defaulting to combat steel here. Okay, so on this row, I think I want to run this particular angle, and I think I could pull that off all the way around now, because every time I did a 22.5, there was 2 blocks involved, not just the one. So we can snap in a bunch of these all over the place, around the sides here. Just might as well just keep on going with the same block for now. Save a little bit of time. Yeah, one of those block brain farts. Hey, worst times I have with blocks is when you can't see which way they're rotated for whatever reason here. But all right, there's quite a few of these in here. Okay, so I think I covered all of that particular block. So let's get its bigger brother here out. But obviously, you could probably see now if I didn't do 2 of these 22.5s in a set, I won't be able to line up these internal blocks, and the whole thing would fall apart on at least of what I was trying to do here. So it's basically a very wavy pattern of multiple layers of wavy blocks to try to create a bit of an organic look and feel to it. Don't think I got them all. Nope, there's a lot of them. Alright, those 2 and up here. Okay, so I think that block is in place now. Yeah, it looks like a total mess right now, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Let's get the straight blocks in here. Well, I wouldn't say straight, but these in the mix. I missed a different block in here. Missed quite a few. No, you don't go with that. So regardless if this design even works, it's I don't know. It's a learning experience. Put it that way. Get a light on. Learning experience for me. Okay, so let's get in a bunch of these for now here to complete these angles. Again, right now I'm not too concerned about the price on this particular creation. That's not like not a low-level starter thing. The idea would be to try to make a some kind of usable base out of it, space station. for a player, but have a lot of focus around trying to make it a POI too. So have to do the interior a little bit different on both versions of it. I think I missed some other blocks in here. Oh, I'm just confusing myself is all. Okay. Oh, I know what I got to do here. Okay, so now, well, let's just finish up these simple blocks here to get them in place. It's probably still faster than switching blocks every single moment. And I know in the past too, some people suggested, you know, setting up like multiple, like have 3 or 4 blocks on the toolbar of like combat steel or whatnot, and then switch between one and the other. Just set one to one block and one set to another block. I've tried that before, and it never seems to work for me because I just always need other blocks. I switch blocks so frequently to so many normally that it's just too much and it's too confusing. And actually, I get a little bit slower when doing that. So now I've got a problem right here. I think I put in the wrong block in that position. So it's actually going to have to be this set. And we'll get that's a straight 45 there. I'll get those last, I guess. Okay, so you go there. Let's put in the other ones on too. Okay, I did the same mistake here. Okay, and I think that's most of them, except for maybe here. Okay, so those go there. Alright, so let's get in some more of these. Keep in mind, this for the start of this, it's being done row by row, so each row is making a change. And going out the other side. Now, this is going to be kind of a weird horizontal thing, so it's going to be kind of like facing one way, and then that will be the back side. Now, one side's going to have a bunch of arms and like tentacles and things, and the back side's going to be kind of a shell. So it's different on both sides. So that is, you get a little bit more of a little more blocks placed. I can start to try to visualize it a little bit. Again, this is kind of largely going from something just in my head. So it's a little different there. Okay, and then you could use one of these. I think that would complete row 2. Okay, so pretty freaky shape. Again, trying to be kind of organic looking with this. I wanted these wavy things going on. Not to mention you can't do a very smooth, big circle anyway. The blocks just won't allow for it. So by constantly altering their angles, like constantly pretty much, you can kind of plow through it, I guess. Okay, so this row here, I think I'm going to go with that same wedge shape design I used on the last row one more time. And then the next row would be a different angle set. So let's get back to this set here. I'll just start using these. Pretty easy to identify how these line up. Get them in everywhere I can right now. I don't know if you've ever seen anything built like this by other people or not. I don't. I mean, this is even kind of rare for me. Like I said, it's only a couple creations I tried to do with this this method of building. bigger one in here. Just got to identify a lot of angles here. I might have to go do this a little bit per case at this point. Obviously, it's getting a little bit skinnier as it goes too. I think I have some things off here. I don't think that was supposed to be that part. Well, I better start figuring this out here. All right, so here I think I gotta go over to this set for this angle. At least there and here and then here. I believe that should be this block. Yeah, if you do some drills like this too, you really start to learn the wedge blocks, especially if you're new to it. I mean, if you already know this, that's great. It's just a different way to do things, I suppose. But if you're new, learning these wedge blocks, really important if you're going for art design and things like that. It's not required for like building functional things in game. It's just if you really want to get more intricate shapes and designs, you definitely want to do something. Well, you definitely want to learn all these blocks here. And it's basically just three sets of angles. You got your 22.5, but there's two different variations of that. There's this row here, and then there's kind of this mixed set of this one, and out on this corners and connectors, where to go? This one, and those go together. And then of course you got your regular 45s with your angles too. And this design is using all three of them to make the shaping. But yeah, just out of experience, that's why I did the 22.5 double sets. Is I've tried to do some weird patterns like this before, and they would fail unless you always did doubles of the 22.5s. You can get away with a single on the 45s, but not on the 22.5s. Or the 2:1 block ratio angles. But there's always going to be a block that fits every one of these positions here. Again, can't rotate it. There we go. Turn. There we go. Okay. It's a lot of block switch, and even here, I mean, I'm using the 3 angle sets plus a couple straight blocks, and I would probably have to fill up the entire toolbar with the different blocks that are used just doing this. It is faster though, if I can definitely get more of these in. It's just a little hard to calculate every time how it's going to turn out. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so we need these here. Let's keep filling in some more. Got to go back over to this angle set. This one. Maybe. Okay. No, that's not right. It should be this one. So we're starting to make that beveled edge here. Can take a little bit. This is just part one of building this too. I mean, I don't necessarily want to abandon this. I'm just not sure how it's going to come out because, like I said, very high concept, even for me. I like to try different things, but this is probably pushing it for me on different kinds of things I've tried to date, at least. A lot of block changing, that's for sure. But yeah, this whole line printer method though, or doing it row by row like this, it's unique. It's a unique building style where every row you're re-examining and making changes from the last row, so you don't end up. It's really good if you don't want a lot of straight lines. And that Scar Crawler doesn't have much of straight lines on it either. Maybe a little bit here and there, but mostly it's always like changing, like from row to row. It does one thing and then does something different and then does something different, and it just never stops happening throughout the whole haul of the creation. And I liked the end result of doing that. It was kind of neat. It doesn't work for every kind of build though. Okay, so I think that pretty much completes row 3 now. All right, so row 4. Row 4, I want to start to angle and round this in more on this row. So rather than going to that same set, it'll be kind of a base set of going with this. So create another angle. And like everything, like the other rows, should all fit because of how it was started. Just a lot of blocks. I might have a problem here though. Might. So I got an idea with if I run into that situation where there is no block that'll work, then I've got a backup plan too. So the backup plan is if no blocks work, to make this setup work in certain areas. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible, but if it happens, then the idea would be to put in something that doesn't fit it at all, as part of like the biomechanical part of this. I'm trying to make this kind of a dual look where it's like say half organic like looking and then the other half is biomechanical, or some ratio. I'm not sure about half, but some ratio of that. That's not the angle I want there. Okay. Kind of why I wanted to do this one for a video too, because it's so unique, it's so different that maybe you could other people could learn something from it, or try to do this method and see what you come up with yourself. Like I said, it's pretty random. Okay, so now I think some of these I just got to put in these, and we get to a block we haven't yet used, and that is just a straight 45 corner for some of these. Again, they should line up. Interesting shapes, so you can make with the even the different angles that you got here. Okay, I got to get this area filled in. So this actually needs, I think, to go back to these to create the angle going across this side. So weird how you're mixing like the two sets together to make all these beveled edges. There, so that kind of works. This should come up over here too. Like that. Just put in a straight one. Alright, so over here, I'm pretty sure we're going to put in at least one of those. And each line can take many minutes. That's for sure. I don't know how long the video is going on. I don't want to make it too long, but I wanted to try to get to about, at least try to get this part done. And here's my problem concern. Here's a place where I'm feeling that blocks may not line up very good in that location. But that's about it. I think they work on the rest of it. So it's pretty light, comparatively speaking. Okay, so here, got to go back over to this set. Okay, so there is one block though. I wanted to try this one. I think it lines up on the edges, but I don't think it's going to do what I want it to. But we'll find out. You know what? Maybe it does. Maybe it does do what I want it to do, because that will line up here. If I pop in one of these. Yeah, okay. So maybe that is recoverable with that other block. Wasn't sure if that was going to work out or not. Hopefully this gets a little more interesting on the build too once I get into part of the other and trying to mix in like portions of Xeno and organic looking stuff and with other stuff, and then when I start to get to working on the arm things. Now, okay, so think if you think about like a squid or octopus. Typically they've got, you know, they're like a eye. You got your arms that are sticking out the front side, a mouth somewhere in here, and then they kind of go out. And they got some kind of shell type of thing back over here, and that's kind of a baseline of what I'm trying to do here. Now, I would like to make it look scarier and more alien, of course, too, in the process, and not necessarily like a squid or octopus, but I'm using that as a base reference, like kind of like the general shape of it, and then a lot of it's going to be kind of like see what happens as you go kind of thing. Like if you think something could look good one way or another, here or there, then you kind of act on that and try to make that work. But this part here will take a little bit of time, obviously. And it's not a small creation either. So this one, you know, I don't know what size class it's going to be. Could definitely be over 10. what do we got going on here? I just want to make sure that I figure out each one of these angles before I like go to the next row, or I'll be asking for failure. Like here, what block do I need here? That was a lucky guess. That one. All right, that wasn't so bad. And what about here? Nope, nope, not you. Okay, so you, since I did that weird fold, I think you're just a straight block. And then we start going back into this here again, upside down. As long as we get this whole row down here. And okay, so I'll use one of those on the top side in this spot. It's not exactly the ideal block I want, but it does fit. It does fit. Oop, did that one wrong. But yeah, if you can, if you know your blocks and can like use these and make beveled lines with all these different wedge blocks, then you're well on your way to being able to create a lot more complicated shaped creations and stuff like that too. So it's really good to know in this game. It's like I keep on relating this. Like if you're gonna learn to play guitar, they usually have you do all kinds of finger exercises and notes and things like that, and it's kind of monotonous and tedious, and you just want to play music, but you can't really learn how to like play something, even if you're, you got something flowing in your head, until you can make your fingers work and know how to hit those notes. And once you know how to hit those notes, then you start, it becomes more of a motor reflex, and then suddenly everything becomes so much easier, and then you can really start getting creative. So same principle here with these particular blocks. If you don't know them, it'll cause you some problems. Oh, I got a problem here too. Getting kind of a weird formation in here that I did something wrong in. Hold on. I think I did this wrong on that row. No, it's just different on both sides. Okay. Never mind. Okay, so this is, I think I'm going to have to remove that again. I was wondering if I was going to get a little bit of things where I had to figure out some of these angles here. No, that ain't it. That's not it. Let's turn you around. Okay, so that fits. Again, I still don't like this particular block because of the extra angle line I'm getting in there when I don't want it in this case, but I don't think that'll be a big deal at all. So almost done with this row. This row's been taking a sweet old time, that's for sure. So let's get one of those here and one of those there. That. Probably one of these. And cap that off with some more of this stuff. Really wavy, really wavy. Okay, so yeah, kind of like an amoeba. Not even sure what an amoeba exactly looks like, but I'm just saying, all right. A little bit more to cap off on this row. Again, the art of line printing with voxel blocks. It's a different thing. It's not probably the awesome method to build everything out of, but for certain weird things like this, this one took a little bit longer. See, now what I was thinking about doing beyond this row, which is just about done, I think now. Okay, so kind of wanted to go out yet another row. Actually, the plan was to do this for 5 rows and keep on manipulating each one of these rows a little bit, and then start to kind of taper this in a little bit on the other side, and then completely change it from going the other direction into like a different shape and design entirely, to create a different part of this space station. You know, I guess it is technically a space station. So this line row, man, that's probably pretty tedious to watch, isn't it? I guess I actually did 4 rows here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, okay, so one more row of doing this, I think, would probably about do it. And that gives me, again, why I wanted to make sure I did this other row. It has to do with when I do these angle things, I want them in sets of 2. So it's doing like 2 of this angle. Now I want it to do 2 of this angle. So that will help ensure the blocks come out better going along the other sides of this. So try to get in some areas here. This isn't quite as interesting as building the Scar Crawler, though. The Scar Crawler was, you know, I don't know. It just because it wasn't such a big shape like this, and it wasn't doing the same repeating stuff that this one's doing more of. So it was a little bit more interesting to build that. But this will change soon. A lot of block manipulation here. Just trying to get some of these corner blocks in so I know what kind of blocks to put around the edges to make this line up. We're starting to get a pretty big pattern right here of the same kind of block, which is okay. That could be used for larger more biomechanical or mechanical part of it looks. Oops, so if I put this block in wrong. Okay, and alright. Let's try to get some of these capped off where I can. Of course, like everything else too, this is just kind of some of these blocks could certainly change. Some of these I screwed up. Here's another screw up here. That's kind of right. Those 2. Okay. Probably the same thing on the bottom here. Basically, yeah, if you ever thought of like a wavy design or something like that, hopefully, especially if you're new to this, hopefully this helps a little bit in figuring out the kind of things you can pull off with these blocks if you have a design that would require such a thing. One thing I have thought about doing too is taking like one row and kind of like pushing it out a little bit more, like a half block over. That's a possibility yet. Ooh, I might have set myself up for a disaster right here, though. What's wrong with this scenario? Nothing. Okay, good. Alright. Sometimes I just scare myself real quick. I'm like, oh no! Sometimes also when I'm trying to find angles, I might start with a smaller block, or I used to. When I first started building, I remember I had a hard time figuring out some of these wedge blocks on which way they're angled and whatnot. So I found that the easiest method, especially if you're starting out and you don't know which way to rotate something, is to bring in the smallest denominator of that angle set. Like in this one here, you can get a pretty clear picture of the shape of it, so you know that if I wanted to get this aligned properly to here, that it would have to be in that format. And then after you have that done, then you know when you keep on building up, this one would fit, this one would fit, and this one would fit. So you don't have to start with these other blocks to do this. And that can make it a lot more sensible and easy when you're not when you're newer and you're not, you know, really familiar with all the blocks and rotations of these blocks. And I'm actually am I going out a road beyond where I thought I was going to go? I am. Okay, let's get rid of those. Okay, so this is row 5. But yeah, that's just another idea. It's something I haven't been that way for a while, but I used to. I remember, you know, first several months of building, that was my method to try to figure out which way I should be rotating something, and to make it a little more sensible in my head at least, so I wasn't like confused. Oh, I did it again. I just decided to go out another row. I'll just leave it. Probably, we might get another row anyway, so. Okay, so what's left? Anything left on this row? Not really. I don't like some of this jagginess I got going on here. I got some problems here, don't I? Yeah, there's something. No, they all line up right. It's just I'm getting a weird shadow there that's kind of looking a little funky. Well, okay. Did I finish this row? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite, no. Just a couple blocks there, and now obviously, really wanted to go organic. Keep on kind of doing this kind of thing over and over again, and keep on making every row a little different, a little fluctuate with the bubbles and the angles and stuff like that. But yeah, I know this is really abstract so far, and I don't want the video to go on too long, so I'm going to just add a couple more things. And I think on the next video on this, on building this, we'll probably be starting to tackle the arms, and I'm a little scared of those, can admit. Never tried to do octopus arms before with voxel blocks. But it's kind of a requirement to make this design actually kind of at least come to what I got in imagination, I guess you could say. Never actually drew it out on a piece of paper or anything like that either, but a couple more blocks to finish this row up here. A few more blocks actually. Well, a ring, a weird amoeba ovalish thing, kind of not really a ring, but kind of like a gasket, kind of like a car gasket, but really thick, you know. So, yeah, weird. Some weird stuff here, that's for sure. All right, so that was the 5 blocks I was intending on using to do this particular front part here. And I think this might be a good cut point. Well, here, I'll finish up one more top row that I didn't do. Again, I just don't want these videos to go on too long. This is pretty monotonous work right here. doing this. But you know, it's a good exercise too. I mean, if you're learning, wanting to make better and better things, want to understand all the blocks, doing some design like this, I mean, it might be a little frustrating when you first do it, but once you accomplish it, you'll learn a lot, and then it just gets easier and easier from there. So you get to a point where you just no longer have to think about any of the blocks on what you're doing. You just know. You just know what goes there. You start to know what is in the block list, and then the more experimentation you do and stuff beyond that is the more you'll just come up with different block combinations that you like. Then I would always encourage experiment with new stuff. I'm always trying to mix things up a little bit. Okay, so this row isn't done here yet, so we need you. Flip it around. Okay, so now I think that row got finished up. Alright, well, I will stop the video here. Lovely amoeba. We'll push it on the next video here. I might have one before my regular video scheduled time. I usually do 3 videos a week, and one of those has to do with usually the look at the workshop. And the other 2 are usually just whatever projects I happen to have going on at the time, or whatever I can show. This one I might start up in the videos, especially going into next week, though. Maybe get a couple extra videos out of just working on this. I'm trying to do the whole initial part of this at least in video form, so you kind of see what's going on, and then eventually I'll start doing things off screen too, but monotonous things, especially with the texturing part of it, which undoubtedly will take a long time to texture too. Maybe not as much on this one. I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. But that's a start. But just try to envision some nasty looking things coming off here, a little bit asymmetrical, mouthy thing over here that leads into maybe a hanger, and then some really trippy stuff out here, and possibly even some nasty looking wings or wing-like things or something. I don't know. This is supposed to look alien, and that is what I'm trying to do. Biomechanical alien krill. Trying to use every block shape thing I can muster up, and then it'll need a lot of tweaking and detailing, even beyond what I just did there. I'm not saying any of this is finalized. I might decide to cut into this area and add, I don't know, something weird to look at in there yet. So I just wanted to get the base shape down, and this particular shape is one of the more complicated ones. And I'm not entirely happy with I don't particularly like how the shadows are looking coming down here. I wish I could smooth that out better, but I don't think it's possible. So anyway, you all have yourself a good day. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will keep chugging away at this thing, and we'll get that going. And I'll keep on working on this one over here too. This is a lot more traditional of a design. I just got to figure out how I want to make these thrusters. How I do the thrusters and the positions of the thrusters can make or break this thing. And I want to get it right. I want to have that side profile look really, really cool. I want it to look kind of realistic, like it could fit in a Star Wars movie, but not of anything that's in Star Wars movies. So there you go. Anyway, y'all have yourself a good day. I will talk to you later.